Hey, hey, hey. How's everybody doing tonight? I am actually getting myself set up, so don't mind me. I just got in from work, and I don't know where you live, but for me in this Atlanta traffic, it was grueling trying to get home. It's raining, and in Atlanta, rain plus getting dark early is a recipe for disaster, right? Accidents all over the place. The traffic was extra slow, and that made me have a very long drive home. So, I had my Waze out, and we were checking out all the back roads trying to avoid some of that Atlanta rush time hour traffic. But I hope you had a better evening drive home from work. Anyway, I am here because I made a commitment that I'm going to start going live more often. So I'm here again tonight. And the good thing is I think I almost have it all together. How about that? And I'm looking down because I'm fumbling with my phone, guys. Trying to get my Facebook up so I can see any comments that come in from people. Want to acknowledge you and say hello. That's the main thing. I really want to say hi to you as you join. But at any rate, and if it doesn't work, I'm not going to fret over it. How about that? But at any rate, I'm Vaishali Weatherspoon, and I am a career strategist and excellence accelerator. I help women who feel stuck and frustrated in their careers to emerge from that stuckness and surge into success. All right, let's turn that off. So that's not working for me. Anyway, and I help them to find out how they can get themselves unstuck from a job that they find unfulfilling. And so I am here, like I said, because I made a commitment. I'm launching my new brand. I'm very, very excited about it. And I want to share with you guys just some things that I am learning along the way in this journey. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple of days. But today I had, such an eventful day at work, and I'm just going to share some things with you. You saw the topic for tonight is 3 surefire ways to create a bad impression at work and what to do instead. So that's what I'm going to talk about. But before I get to any of that, let me know who's on the broadcast. Drop your name, say hello, let me know where you're from so I can say hello back. Anyway, I don't know, this just popped into my head, and I thought I would get on and talk to you about some things that you can do to create a bad impression at work. And I know that's not what most of us want to do at work. We want to create a good impression so that we can, get people to know us for the right reasons, so we can move up the career ladders, so we can create that path that we want to our ideal positioning in our jobs. But if that's not what you want, and you really do want to create a bad impression at work, I have a few tips about what you can do. So please share this video with a friend, or just share it and invite a friend. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's a little bit of comical relief, but I do have some real tips to share with you before the end of this broadcast. And I'm not going to be long at all tonight. But number one thing that you can do is be a Nancy naysayer. Complain and have a negative attitude about everything. And trust me, no one is going to want to see you coming. And no matter how justified you might feel about your position or what you think people are doing that's wrong, or whatever it is that you're complaining about, it creates a bad impression. even if you're a good worker otherwise. Tip number 2, be unreceptive to feedback from others. And there are some situations, and sometimes I admit, where you may not want to put too much weight into the feedback that somebody gives you. But usually when you're on a job, if somebody is offering a suggestion or feedback or a different way to look at things or to approach a project or something, you might want to take note and listen. But creating arguments and trying to have the last word about everything somebody suggests to you is really not a good look. Tip number 3, don't be a team player. In fact, when somebody tries to meet with you and talk to you about a project or possible ways that you can collaborate and work toward a common goal, become territorial about it and accuse them of trying to take over your responsibilities. That'll get you a long way with creating a bad impression at work. Does any of this, and I know it really sounds comical right now when you think about it, but these are really things that happen in the workplace every day. And I'm exaggerating them and, just making them sound really ridiculous. But to the people who are experiencing these things, they're really real issues. And they are most time things that need to be addressed. And how many of you have experienced this in your workplace, where you know a coworker or somebody on a different team, or maybe, I hope it's not, but maybe it's you that's been one of these people, or not that it's describing a type of person, but you've been in this position where you were doing some of these things that were not necessarily in your best interest in terms of creating a good reputation at work. If you can relate to any of this, you know somebody who's done it, you've done it, type yes in the comments. Now, I've made light of this whole thing, but of course, I'm the career strategist and excellence accelerator. So I'm not just going to sit here and tell you something that sounds totally ridiculous. I actually want to provide some helpful solutions. So I am now going to give you 3 things that you should do instead to create a good reputation at work. And the first one is trying to look at things from a different perspective. Sometimes when we can see things through a different lens, we can ask ourselves some different questions, we can come up with some different answers and some different perspectives to help us to see the other side of things. So here's some questions that you might ask yourself. One could be, what are some possible solutions or ways to look at this situation differently? Or how might your coworker or your boss see things differently, or how might they see the situation? And that can be just a thing that helps you to kind of twist your thinking and gain a different perspective. Another thing that you could do is resist the urge to comment and rebuke and dispute and defend everything that someone says to you, every suggestion that your teammate makes or your boss offers to you. And instead, listen attentively and ask questions so that you can understand what the person is trying to convey to you. See if there's any merit in what they're saying, because sometimes, a lot of times, there might be something that you can glean from that feedback, from that suggestion, that'll help you to be just that much better. So take a chill pill, sit back and listen, and then process. Process what you've heard, determine if it's something that's useful. If it is, take it and implement it immediately. And then my third and final tip is get real with yourself, right? Determine the source of the issue with working with others, because if you have problems working with teams and it's persistent from situation to situation, it's probably not the team. It might be something that you need to look at that relates to you. So ask yourself, do you feel threatened that someone else is trying to take your job? And if you do, why? What is it that's making you feel that way? What's bringing out those emotions in you? Are you afraid that the other person will do a better job than you? That they'll show you up in some way? And this might not be something that you'll admit to yourself, but if you really sit down and start to contemplate it, and you have to be willing to be honest with yourself, then you might be able to find out if that is part of that underlying cause. And ask yourself, are you concerned about losing respect, losing the limelight, you losing your good graces with your bosses, the leadership, the powers that be, so to speak? And if so, then I encourage you to examine that also and figure out what that's all about. And realize that a team is only as good as its individual parts. And if the team looks good, then you look good, right? And that's all that I have for you tonight. So please share the broadcast if you've enjoyed these tips. And I hope you at least got a little chuckle out of some of these things. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Okay, my live doesn't want to end. What is this Adobe Acrobat that keeps coming up here?